What's happening, guys? Larry Alabama from the Gym Rat Pack here again with another video about yet another boxer who's failed a PED test, or drug test, should I just say. So the breaking news from yesterday actually is that Robert Helenius, the boxer who was brought in to replace Dylan White, who also failed a drug test to fight Anthony Joshua, has now been reported to have failed a test via VADA. The substance hasn't been released yet, but I presume both samples have been tested because, actually, no, I shouldn't presume that. Usually the case is that the A and B sample were tested before. Actually, no, I'm mistaken there. That's probably just the A sample that's been tested right now. Usually back in the day, it was the A and B samples that needed to be tested before it's released to the public. But obviously they've changed rules now, and I remember that actually happened to me as well. So yes, just the A sample at the moment. So you'll probably request for the B sample to be tested. He's already protested his innocence, as they all do. But yeah, it's not really surprising to me. You know my stance on all of this. You know my stance on not just boxers, but most athletes and all sports. You know what they're doing. And we've seen the proof of this. I mean, you know, look, with the boxers, it's a recent phenomenon of so many boxers testing positive only because they've slightly stepped up the tests. They used to be literally next to no tests for boxing. And then all of a sudden, just a slightly more testing has produced all throughout the years, all these positives that you're now seeing. So, yeah, it's always been there in boxing. It's been there as, you know, as much as any other sport. So this is not surprising, but a lot of people are talking about how stupid Robert Helenius must be to have used something only a week, not, you know, knowing that he had the AJ fight before, you know, because obviously Robert Helenius had a fight previously, an 8-rounder, and then a week later he had the AJ fight. So people are assuming that he used something, you know, between the two fights to fight AJ. And I don't think that's the case. I think the case is that he used something for the previous fight, which was an 8-rounder, and probably thought or knew that there would be no drug testing for it because it's an 8-rounder. It's not a championship fight. It's a small promotion. Therefore, there'd be no testing. And so thought, okay, well, I don't have to, similar to what I thought when I tested positive, that I don't have to focus on any protocol. I can just do what I want, basically, and I'll be cool. And yeah, and obviously he was cool for that fight, but the opportunity of a lifetime came about, obviously, with the AJ fight and the money they must have offered him, because remember, at the end of the day, he did save the show. So, and reportedly AJ had to take a pay cut to get Helenius in. So he must have got paid a hell of a lot of money. So he was probably, you know, made a calculated decision that, you know what, even if they catch me, they're going to pay me before they catch me, before it comes out. I'll have the money. Even if it's my last fight, I'll cash out. You know, so I get it. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the substance is, first of all. And yeah, I am not surprised, obviously. You know, it's probably more common amongst the heavyweight division, more than any other weight. But yeah, it's not surprising at the end of the day. It's not surprising. I've called it and said it from day one. A lot of people like to bash me even now and say, oh yeah, well, I'm going to make believe that everyone's using because I got caught. But as we've seen, look, just because someone passes a test doesn't mean they're not on anything. I mean, look how many athletes have passed numerous tests, and then we find out later on that they were on something, i.e. Marion Jones, Lance Armstrong. You know, they passed numerous years of tests, but we then found out that they were on something. So, you know, just passing a test is not enough to to be able to tell people that you're clean, you're not using any performance enhancing drugs. That's, there's designer drugs out there now that can't be tested for. There's gene doping that no one actually brings up at all. And I probably might do a video on that soon about gene doping and what that entails. But there's no test for gene doping. There's not likely to be a test for gene doping for a long time. So there's that as well. And then there's various loopholes, as I've mentioned time and time again, with the testing procedure that you can take advantage of with your common drugs, especially the drugs made in the body, your EPO, testosterone and growth hormone. So, at the end of the day, I just feel like Robert Helenius made a calculated decision. He took a calculated risk for the money. Obviously, he's tested positive, but he saw it as a win-win because he's got the money. And I'm quite sure he got, a good payday out of it. I'm sure it was definitely more than a mil in my estimation. Anyway, I don't know for sure, obviously. But yeah, I think he got more than a mil, so, and that'll probably be more than any payday he ever got. So, at the end of the day, they're not going to be able to take the money off of him. So, who's to say, who are we to say that he didn't make a good decision on his part? Because there's nothing they can do. He made some references before the AJ fight about anti-doping, in light of what happened with Dylan White, and saying that if he got caught in Finland, that'll be it for him. Finland, I don't know the rules in Finland, but so he says. It'll be interesting to see what the Finnish authorities do in this case, or even if Helenius is going to fight this, because I pretty much doubt he's going to. I think he's going to call it a day. Like I said, he's probably got the biggest payday of his career. So why continue? He ain't going to give the money back. So there you go. It's, I don't know. I've already suggested ways in which this problem could be combated, but it probably won't be combated the way I and many other people before me have suggested. It's going to be the status quo for a long time. I think it's going to take something like what's coming about soon with the enhanced games to really show what is going to grab people's imaginations. If you see some crazy performances in that enhanced games, you're going to see people gravitate towards that, because inherently people want to see the extraordinary, and this is what they pay their money for. So that might force their hand in combating this doping issue in another way, but who knows. But yeah, Robert Helenius, he pulled a blinder, I have to say. he took a calculated risk and he pretty much won. At the end of the day, he's got the money, and that's what he was fighting for. So, salute. But guys, what do you think about all this? What do you think? And also, what do you think about everyone's testing positive fighting AJ? Do you think AJ's using? I know my thoughts on the case, but what do you think? And what do you think about Robert Helenius popping for? And what do you think he's popped for? Obviously, when it comes out what he's popped for, I will do another video. But yeah, leave me your thoughts down below, please, yeah?